Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you for actively participating in our poll. The poll was around symptoms of a specific condition, and the condition is called insulin resistance. So if we have any one of those symptoms, then we are in insulin resistant stage. Now let's try and understand what is insulin resistance. So in school we all have studied that once we eat a food, our carbohydrates get broken down into glucose, and with the help of insulin, the glucose gets into our cell and the cell produces energy. Now, this is the normal functioning, but sometimes what happens is the lock, which is the insulin receptor, right, which is supposed to open the cell because insulin has come in and let the glucose inside, that stops working. So let's try and understand this in a lock and key analogy. So now the key here is the insulin produced by the pancreas, and the lock is a receptor on the cell. Now, because this lock has stopped working, the key is not able to function and open the lock, and because of which glucose starts accumulating in our blood, right? And because there is more glucose, this sends a message to the pancreas asking you to produce more and more insulin. So now you can see the lock is not working. There's a lot of insulin that is being produced. At the same time, there's a lot of glucose also in the blood, right? And now in this condition, there is a lot of problems that can occur in our body, right? And this is actually a vicious cycle because we are eating, insulin is getting produced, and cell is resistant to insulin. That is converted to fat. We feel more hungry and we feel less energetic. We feel more hungry, again we eat, and this whole cycle continues, right? And so what happens in our body when the insulin resistance happens and the blood and the glucose and the insulin level goes up? One is, of course, we feel hungry. That's the reason you saw in the one of the symptoms that there is a large appetite. We tend to eat more, or sometimes there is a craving to eat sweets after our meals. It also increases inflammation in the body. What is inflammation? Inflammation is a root cause of all kinds of diseases. That any disease that ends with itis, be it hepatitis, be it pancreatitis, is nothing but because of inflammation. And even the cardiovascular diseases. This can lead to cardiovascular diseases like heart attacks, strokes. The arteries get blocked because of this. And also the abdominal fat starts to accumulate because our liver, where the glycogen conversion, glucose gets converted to glycogen, has a limit. Beyond that, it cannot store it as glycogen, but it gets accumulated as fat, and that's why we have a lot of fat around the tummy because of this. Now, how do we know that we are insulin resistant? So apart from the symptoms that we have seen, we need to, I'm sure all of you have got a blood test done. If not, you can get this and see if your triglyceride level and HDL, the ratio of this shouldn't be greater than 2. If it is greater than 2, then we are insulin resistant. Plus, along with the HbA1c and the blood glucose test, we need to also get insulin resistant test done, and that needs to be done in a fasting stage. So then we know that whether we are insulin resistant or not. And this insulin resistance is a precursor to diabetes, right? And so this is just the first stage, and then it goes to diabetes. Now, what can we do about it? The first is, of course, we need to reduce our intake of high glycemic foods and go to low glycemic foods. We need to exercise. We need to make a lot of lifestyle modifications, which is food, exercise, and also with certain supplements. This can be reversed without medication. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Bye.